Hello, and once again, aloha, everybody. So let's just see. This little machine thing takes a minute for me to start registering all the people that are on. So there we go, starting to climb. Got a few people here. Aloha, I see a couple people. Whoa, you just doubled in numbers. That was cool. All right, so the thing's lagging, recognizing. Oh, and another 30%. So the numbers are climbing. Welcome, everybody. I aim when I do these lives, I always aim to keep the promise that I wrote in the post. When I say I'm going to go live and I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. Well, I made a big promise today. Hey, Elaine, Roxanne, hey, Sue, Kate, Christy, Jennifer. Some of you look really familiar to me. Hey, Donna, good to see you. Christine. So check it out. We got Michigan, Arizona, the UK, Australia. Hey, Peter. Linda, the UK. 25 people on. All right, somebody has no volume. That's on your end, that's for sure. Hey, Christy, long time no see, girl. Christine in Ireland. All right. It has been a long time there, Mary. Hi, Lacey. Good to see you. Hey, Alabama, Christy. I'm going to call you that from now on. Jennifer, also in Alabama. Missouri. Good to see you, Patty. I wonder how you're doing. You check in with me after this. Hey, Michael in South Carolina. Love you, buddy. Good to see you, brother. V, long time no see. All right, so let's get on with it. You guys keep the comments coming. Keep the howdies coming. And I just want to let you know that today this live stream might be mind-blowing for you. I am going to point down some corridors of thought and reflection that I'm gonna bet you ain't looked. Hi again. Now, when I say that, that's kind of cocky to assume that we haven't looked there. Not necessarily. Let's find out. Okay? So I'm going to uncharacteristically... Oh, Heather, you're in Ireland too? All right. Aloha. I'm going to uncharacteristically dive in a little faster to the very center of my message today, even though I do have a surprise punchline coming near the end of this, however long I go today. I want to ask some questions that will point your mind, should you choose to pick up these questions and follow them. Last night I had a bit of a vision. Went out for a walk and I had this phrase come through my mind, and for the rest of the evening it just rolled. I got to my computer, I started to name this live stream the phrase, and then I opted not to do it. So I'm going to start right now. The phrase is the wisest and noblest among us. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to encourage you, and I'm going to invite you to really think when I ask the questions. If you'll, instead of spitting out an easy no, hey, Ryan, good to see you, brother, always. Instead of spitting out, hey, Ontario, Rosemary, instead of spitting out a quick answer, I want you to look for a minute and I want you to think about it for a minute. So let me start with, I almost want to make myself a note this time, but I trust I'll hold it together. You guys can trust that with me. We'll just see how it works, right? Think for a moment about what areas in life are the most impactful on our lives. Hey, Carl, good to see you, brother. What are the areas of life? What are the topics that actually are the most fruitful, crucial, life-affecting areas of life? And I welcome you. Okay, our upbringing. Holy shit. I can only agree with that 100%. And upbringing in what areas? I could offer some some words. I'm not going to do that yet. What are some areas of life that you say, well, what are the areas that matter the most? The areas that affect us the most? What are the realms of thought and action and human endeavor, relationships? Okay, keep it coming, everybody. Keep it coming. Feeling safe in another job, absolutely. I'm going to narrow this in. Health and relationships, okay? Ooh, so there's medicine in that health thing. All right. Hey, Bernie, how you doing, brother? And I am making myself a note. Being said, I agree with that. Okay, religion. Culture. All right. Now we're starting to get it rolling here. Starting to get it rolling. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick one. Samir, education. And that's the one I'm going to start with. So I'm going to ask some things that I'm going to propose to you that these are going to be profound questions. You'll have to decide if they're profound for you. I'm just going to offer that bringing your awareness to them and holding it there is what's going to make the difference. Okay. Let's look at the word education. Hey, Mary. Good to see you. Education. And here's my question for you. Think about the country that you live in and contemplate this question. Would you say that the people who created the educational system that's being used, the administrators and authorities, the principals, the teachers, I'm not criticizing people. I'm not faulting anyone for anything. I'm just asking you a question. Overall, the educational system that we are entrusting the children to, would you say that as a rule, they are the wisest and noblest among us? Yes or no? The wisest and the noblest among us. Do you feel that our children are being handed off to the wisest and noblest among us? No. Weapons of mass instruction. John Taylor Gatto. Agreed. Nope. Now, none of us are criticizing teachers, right? They're doing their best with the system they were given after having been fucking programmed by the educational system themselves. So everybody, as you look at this, good to see you, Justin. As you look at this, we're not criticizing people. We're not putting anyone down. What we're doing is we're asking a question and we're saying, the educational systems of the planet and the educational system, especially public education, the thing, but so they're not necessarily the wisest and noblest among us, and yet we send our children to them for programming. Not only that, if you don't send your kids to them for programming, you can get in trouble with the law. And if you want to pull your kids out and homeschool, you get ridiculed by the people who got programmed by the system too. Hi, Fiona. So I am reminded in this moment of the song by REM, Stand in the Place Where You Live, Now Face North. Think about direction for a minute and wonder why you haven't before. Well, I'm saying stand in the place where you live your life. Think about education and wonder why you haven't before. Even all the people who talk about education, all the people who think, have you ever sat down and formulated the question? That's right. And Mary, that's important. That's why I said twice, we're not criticizing the teachers in any way, shape, or form. But if the teachers are programmed by the educational system in question, hey, Karen, good to see you. All right, so you follow me. And have you ever sat and formulated the question? Have you ever sat and thought consciously on purpose and contemplated, is the educational system that we're all supposed to worship and bow to, is it run and staffed and created by the wisest and noblest among us? Holy shit, what a question. Let's continue. Religion, where we supposedly learn our spiritual information. Pick a religion. Pick all the religions. Would you say that the religions that we're given were formed and created and run and organized and administered and taught and delivered today by the noblest and wisest among us? Pedophilia, rape, abuse, mind control, guilt, shame, ideas of heavenly punishment, owning, taking all the gold. Most religions saying, well, it's about bringing 10% to God, but I don't know if God is spending any of that money on anything. Well, we're taking in 10% so that we can build more churches. Right. So you can have more people to take 10% from. What the fuck? I mean, nobody looks at it. Yeah, but the Catholic Church, they put up that hospital. Any idea why? I'm not criticizing the Catholics. I'm not criticizing the Buddhists. I'm not criticizing nobody. I'm not putting down any preachers or priests. And I am not putting anyone down. I'm asking questions here, and I'm inviting you to look and think, and I'm asking a very specific question. Would you say today, would you think about it and look at it for a minute? We're going somewhere. That the people creating, running, staffing, delivering, and preaching in our religious systems today are the noblest and wisest among us, yes or no? And I just got quite a bit of no's. Okay. Is anybody with me? Is anybody thinking with me? Is anybody curious? Okay, Brian said he was going to show the biggest opportunity. Right now he's asking questions. All right, let's look at health, which has been utterly, totally, and completely, utterly hijacked by the medical system. Now, you could go back and you could research at the end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, the Rockefeller family was selling oil. They found out that they had tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of oil, which was worth absolutely nothing. So they bottled it and sold it as snake oil and said that it was a cure for whatever you have. So they were selling oil. Study the history. This is not conspiracy or anything. It's just what they were doing. Very widely publicly known and easy to find out about. Selling it, they said, well, what if we could get a monopoly where we could say that we're the only cure? So over the course of years, hiring people who went out and made a legal entity, the FDA, forming American medical associations and all these medical structures to give themselves an absolute monopoly. Would you say that our medical system today is created by, managed by, administered, run by the noblest and wisest among us? And that was Big Pharma in the crib right there. That's where Big Pharma was born. And today they basically have a monopoly where only they can say that they treat and cure. How amazing is that? Now, this time I got no, hell no, and fuck no's. It got much more serious. donated millions to the medical industry that turned everyone against natural cures. You got that right. It's all easy to verify. Those of you that find yourself at home for a little while, there's a book, if you can find a copy of it. It was actually out of print. It wasn't available for a while, and then I found like 10 copies, so I just bought them all. But you might be able to find it on Amazon now. It's called The New Drug Story by a guy named Morris Beale, Beale. I think I've seen it spelled Beale, so you can try both spellings. That book will blow your mind. You're talking about the origin of understanding so many different monopolies on the planet. Oh, let's don't go down the pond right now. Okay, I'm with you though. So what I'm asking you though, before we go down any side roads, is when you take a look at education, when you look at religion, when you take a look at medicine, wouldn't you say these are three areas of life that have a certain degree of weight and impact and effect on humanity? Would you? Because I would say that religion, education, medicine, those are three areas of life. People typing in some names of books here that are like, this is cool. But let's remember that we're not against anybody here. We're not trying to take anybody down. We're not making anybody wrong or bad. We're taking a very different approach than most people do who feel like they need to take it down. And no. Today, we ain't going to be focused on anybody, criticizing anybody or making anybody wrong or trying to take anybody down at all. Quite the opposite. So we're agreeing here, most of us so far, I haven't seen anybody not, that religion, education, and medicine are three super weighty, important, significant areas of life that affect so much of human experience, existence, and endeavor. And that when we look at them carefully, none of us would say that they are founded by, created by, organized, administered, or staffed necessarily by the wisest and noblest among us. Okay? Now, this one, somebody typed it in, and this was a little bit vague, but that's okay. That's okay. Vague is not. So let's talk about the area of bringing up children. The areas of bringing up. So you have the child psychologists, you have the school system's role in the idea of upbringing, all the governmental family courts and all those systems. So the systems of authority relating to how to bring up children, and that they can take your kids away if they think you're not raising them right, all this other stuff. Would you say the people who create and run and staff and organize and operate all the systems that have authority about upbringing of children, would you say that they're staffed and run and operated by the noblest and wisest among us? While you're thinking about that, I don't want to shortcut anybody's thinking here. I'm going to talk about the who is they in a minute, Kate. And someone said parents. Now, I agree. The only thing is, how many parents actually think that they themselves are not the authority on how to raise their own kids? How many have totally bought the lie from religion, education, medicine? All right. Now, let's back out for a minute. How about government? How about our governments? Would you say that the people who create our governments are at the head of our government, those who own our governments, and those who administer, from presidents and kings and queens and authorities and heads of state and parliaments, all the way down to the magistrates and the judges and the cops would you say that the government system is created by, founded by, administered, run, and operated, and brought to us by the noblest and wisest among us? And at this point, I'm going to ask another question. As I'm asking these questions, See, now I'm seeing anger and I'm seeing rah, 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 and I'm seeing it's like strong. But we want to come to this with love. We want to come to this with love because we're not putting them down. If we're putting them down, well, we'll find out in a moment what happens when we put them down. What I'm asking, what I'm inviting, if you want to do, is look at this with me. And if you want to think and contemplate and be curious for a minute, to bring your awareness and your thought and your considerations to actually look in the corners and in the directions that matter most, that none of us ever look at. And so my next question for you is, do you see and feel that there is value and or benefit beyond just getting pissed off at them? Are you getting any value or benefit out of looking at these questions? Are you having any insights or epiphanies? And if you're having any insights or epiphanies, I would love to hear them. I have a couple more groups, a couple more angles of life that I'm going to bring in. And then I'm going to perhaps make a point here in a minute. If anyone is having any insights or any epiphanies, I welcome knowing it and I welcome hearing what they are. Let's just look at the voices and see who says what here. Aloha, Sherry. All right. Now, let's continue forward. There have been times where the artists and in all arenas of art, the musicians, the songwriters, the sculptors, the painters, some of them were visionaries. When they would write songs, pieces of music, plays, operas, they would draw or paint or sculpt something with the intention of elevating the love and the consciousness, to bring the celestial magic down through art. But I'd like to ask you today, would you say that the biggest, most famous, most popular artists and musicians that get in front of the masses, the record companies, the labels, the agencies that bring art to the masses today, would you say that they are the noblest and wisest among us? Look at the lyrics of the 10 most popular songs today in almost any country, and you'll hear codependent love, and I could go on, but that's enough. My question is, would you say that today, overall, the arts is populated and run and managed and delivered to us by the wisest and noblest among us? I'm with Justin. Bring love to the question, not anger. And what an example, that song Unstoppable. What a flawless example. If I was going to stop and do a 10-minute dissertation to make my point, I would pick the song Unstoppable and how that song is written and engineered and the way that it creates emotions that are in conflict with the words and the way that it programs. And I just can't tell you how many times I've been to events, live events, where that song was used over and over and over and over as if it had a helpful message, with no one stopping and looking at what those fucking words say and what that picture, what that song teaches. All right, so maybe I've made a point here. All right. So I could pick a few more categories of life, and you're welcome to pick one. What I'm asking is, when we look at religion and education and medicine, upbringing of children, our governments, music and art, when we look at these areas, are they staffed and run by the wisest and noblest among us? And everybody's saying no. And if there was ever a time that I felt just a smidgen, just a trace, just a speck, trust me, I'm fine, it's all good, I smelled a smidgen of a trace of a speck of a little bit of sadness that I'm showing right now, only 57 people on this live, when I would like to be able to ask these questions of a couple million people so that they could all think about this. And I totally trust the perfection of the number of people that are here right now. And this is not a fun or sexy topic. This is for people who want to wake up. So we surrender our ears to the radio and Spotify and Pandora for them to play whatever the fuck they want. And we sit in partial presence. Hey, David. We sit in partial presence being programmed. Millions and millions of people who hate their religion, hate the pedophilia, hate the shit, and they're still going to church because they haven't looked outside of it. People buying the pressure to be a patriot to their country when they hate what their government leaders are doing, but they're programmed to worship the patriotism. You can't question that. What's wrong with you? Our governments, all they got to do is say the phrase national security. We say, okay, do whatever you want. If it's for national security, that makes total sense to me. And then the music and the arts that are handed down. So if you look at these areas of life that are truly important, the areas that impact us the most, the areas that dictate the outcomes in so many different areas of our lives, that it's so outrageously profound. And then you realize the people running them are not the noblest and wisest among us. Let's bring it over and look at the news for a minute. And whoever the hell came up with the idea that that was the news, well, damn, that was clever of them to call it new and then put an S on it and make it a thing. Oh my God, the words of Christian music. Are you kidding? Yeah, but I'm not agreeing that anything's bad. I know what you mean. So let me ask you this. The people who bring us the news, the people who report to us the weather. Oh, looks like there's going to be some. No. Dangerous tropical storm bearing down on. Oh my God, the people that bring us the news and the weather, the information. Are they the noblest and wisest among us? So then, what the biggest opportunity in the history of our planet has always been the same. Only it just might be a little bit more so in times of crisis. The biggest opportunity in the history of humankind, and the biggest opportunity in this very moment, is for you to admit that you are the noblest and wisest among us. I am the noblest and wisest among us. I can be the noblest. Hey, Terry, welcome. I can be the noblest and wisest among us. If there was ever a time for me to hear the phrase and think about it and admit it, I was pretending that they were the authorities. Religion, education, medicine, upbringing, the government, music and arts, the news. But I'm the one I've been waiting for. There is no other to wait on. Waiting for someone to come in and save me. Waiting for some human that's got it figured out better than me to come save me. Waiting for some Lord who died a couple thousand years to come back and save us. Waiting for the white hats to ride in and take all the black hats to jail so that I can be finally safe. What does it mean to be noble? Present. So that the love, joy, and peace that I am alone comes through into the world. My honey said this is good shit. Waiting for Q to come save us. Waiting for all the retired military and the militias to go kill the bad people who were doing all the bad things. A drama playing out on a stage with me as the only spectator, forgetting that I'm the authority of my life. I'm the one I was waiting for. I'm the one who put all my power into all those things. Is it possible that I am the one I've been waiting for? Is it possible that I am the noblest and wisest among us? And I trust that you know when I say I'm encouraging you to I. Is it possible that I'm the one I've been waiting for? Is it possible for me to stop waiting for Q, or stop waiting for the Calvary, or stop waiting for Jesus, or stop waiting for the white hats? But Brian, what would I do? What are you telling me to do? I'm telling you, stop waiting for someone to tell you what the fuck to do. Quit giving them authority. You're the one writing the book. You're the author. Retrieve your authority. Now, anyone who wants to, we all know by now, I'm not against anyone. I'm not against anyone. I'm not against anyone. I'm not saying that we need to take down those motherfuckers. I'm not saying anything like it. I've been repeating. I am saying this, though. How would you feel about saying a few things, repeating a few things that might help you in this very moment to take that power back and be the one? Would you be willing to play along? Would that be cool for you? If you'll imagine for just 1 minute, the entire authority structure, I invite you to close your eyes if you want to, but you don't have to. The authority structure that you have created, the authority structure that you were sold by yourself, forgetting that you were the one who did it. You're born. Look here, little child. Here's the authority of education. Here's the authority of the military. Here's the authority of the government. Here's the authority of medicine. Here's the authority of religion. Here's the authority of the news. And we bow and kiss their fucking asses. Whenever anyone walks in wearing a robe, we all bow. And if they have little colored things on their uniform that celebrates how many people they killed, they're a hero. Who came up with the awards? Why are they royal? What? We've been buying this shit the whole time. So if you just contemplate the entire authority structure that you had bought into, the authority structure, the people that they said were the authorities, of course, they said we're the authorities. And so we bought it. Wow, they've done a great job. They were so convincing. I don't know how I'd stop them. I don't know how I would fight them. And I'm not advocating that we should stop them or fight them. I'm saying if we pull our authority back in and admit that we are the authority, I am the authority of my life. You can kill me, but you can't take my being. And if you kill me, you and I will both find out you didn't kill me. I chose to hold my freedom intact. And so if you would like to do this, just say along with me. Don't worry about understanding it. I retrieve all of my energies bound up in the authority structure and everything I believe about it. And I take all those energies back to the perfect place in my true self. Breathe on that for a minute. And in this moment, you can be curious about what were some of the authorities that you bought into, you believed, and your parents told you with fear. You saw your mom defer to the doctor. Well, the doctor says. Every movie you ever watched, every movie you ever watched, sponsored by the medical authority. Scene in the movie, 50 years ago, black and white movie, or today. The doctor walks into the house. Someone's in the bed. The doctor walks in with his black bag. He goes into the room. A minute later, he walks out of the room. The family looks to the doctor with curiosity and sadness. And the doctor shakes his head. Sorry, no. I've officially said this motherfucker's going to die. And I'm the authority. Doctor's orders. Well, the doctor gave me 3 months to live. Now, I've often said, and I'm saying again, I love everybody. I love every doctor. I'm not criticizing anybody. But if some doctor gives me 3 months to live, I'm giving it back to him. Sorry, you're not my fucking authority. People surrendered their brains to the medical profession because that's what they were shown and programmed to do. Same way with religion, same way with. Forgive me, Father. What? All right. So if you will, I invite you to say out loud and just see what happens. I remove all non-me energies. I remove all non-me energies related to the authority structure and everything I believe about it. I remove it from all my cells and from all my bodies and from my personal space. And I send it back to its pristine origins in infinite possibilities. Breathing deep, curious. Well, now, somebody just said there is no authority. I don't agree with that. And here's why. Because you are the authority. You're welcome, Carl. You're the authority. You're the one. You're authoring the book that you call your life. You are absolutely the authority. You're the author. You're the one writing it. You're the one spinning it off. And now another sentence. Let's get really curious for 1 minute. How much of my life up until now has been a series of reactions to the authority structure and everything I believe about it? Just be curious. I really encourage you. You know, when I had you ask those questions, is these people the noblest and wisest among us? Are these the noblest and wisest? Are these in the? So I had you really look at some questions, right? So let's look at this for just 1 moment. How much of my life has been a series of reactions to the authority structure? How much of what I've done in my life was reactions to the authority structure? When I got in my car and a cop was behind me, I don't know if I better say that on Facebook. I could go on forever. How many things that I've done in my life were actually reactions to the authority structure? How many of the things I wanted to do but I didn't do in my life were reactions to the authority structure? Religion, education, medicine, government leaders, music, arts. Okay, Fiona, you just said something really important. We have to listen to the top people in New Zealand. The top people. The top, well, they obviously must be the noblest and wisest among us. I mean, look, they're in those offices and they get to wear those robes and those name tags. Mary says, I remember as a young child, I was criticized because I didn't respect authority. Our parents were doing everything they could to beat that fear into us so that the authorities didn't grind us into fucking hamburger. Okay, so last sentence. If you want to, if you will, you can say it out loud if you want. I retrieve all of my energies bound up in all my reactions to the authority structure and everything I believe about it. And I take all those energies back to the perfect place in my true self. They convinced us that we wouldn't know how to handle it ourselves. They did an amazing job. Let's give them credit. They were convinced that we couldn't do it without them. Bill Gates is positive that if he doesn't leave everyone alone to do their way, we're going to ruin the planet. So he is going to kill a few billion of us with vaccines. Generations of programming. Millennia. Royalty. Authority. And then if I back up and I look at the entire thing, if I look at the entire authority thing from start to finish, the authority structures that have ever existed through all time, if I look at it and I say, and I invite you to do it if you want to, just see what happens when you think about all the authority structure, all the kings and queens that have ever put people in dungeons, that have created tax systems, that everybody just bows and just follows along. Look at the whole thing, and if you want to, if you really want to be free, say, look what I created. Look what I created. Wow. Look what I created. And then if you'll say out loud, I forgive myself anyway. I forgive myself anyway. Hell, I was doing my best. I kind of fell asleep there for a little while, I guess. Of course I forgive myself anyway. And then if you want, you could say, I choose peace. I choose peace. Hey, religion, authority structure, I choose peace. I'm not in opposition to you anymore. I'm not following you. I'm not believing you. I'm not kissing your ass, and I'm not fighting you. I choose peace. I'm done with this. Hey, educational system, I choose peace. I'm no longer giving you my energy. I'm no longer fighting against you. I choose peace. AMA, medical entities that want to take kids from their family for not doing radiation. I choose peace. I choose peace. I choose peace. Fritz, I am 100% in harmony and agreement with A Course in Miracles. A music, arts, culture, governments. I choose peace, and I mean it. I choose peace. And so I take responsibility. I accept the responsibility for everything. And I'm going to start choosing from presence now. And I've withdrawn my energies from supporting and agreeing with you anymore. I bought in, and now I bought out. Cashed in my chips. Me too, Tim. See, we don't have to be in opposition. When we're in opposition to our creation, it's like slapping the person in the mirror. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. If you know anyone that would benefit from we now create something new, Colleen. Absolutely. Starting today. If you know anyone who will enjoy or benefit from or enjoy this video, or both, I'm okay if they enjoy it and benefit from it. Please share this. Don't be shy. Don't be worried about the authorities. You're it. Admit it, and then keep admitting it. And when the fear comes up, admit it again. You don't have to be in opposition to them and their system. Just keep withdrawing your agreement. I do not consent. I choose peace. I do not consent. I choose peace. All right. I love you and I appreciate you and I'm grateful for you. We are one. And I will see you soon.